this is an article from Engadget written by Chris Holt, reporting that Sony has opened up PS4 crossplay. Cross-platform multiplayer access to all developers. So, if you guys don't remember the big kerfluffle, I think that's the second time I've used the word kerfluffle tonight. So, 2 points for me. Last year when Fortnite came out for the Switch, they announced crossplay, cross progression across different platforms, and Sony was the holdout for it. The concession that Sony made was, we are going to add this feature in as a beta and not open it up to everybody. So they added it to Fortnite to begin with, and since then they've opened it up on other games as well, including Rocket League, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Dauntless, Paladin, Smite, and Realm Royale all have crossplay. The beta and I think it was just the beta for Call of Duty Modern Warfare was cross-platform as well. But now Sony just kind of announced in an aside in a Wired article that was talking about cloud, their goals in cloud gaming. Just kind of mentioned like, oh yeah, we've taken this out of beta, opened it up to all developers. So, and from what I understand, it really is just like an on-off. Like, developers can just say, okay, we want to turn cross-platform play on. And so I imagine we're going to start to see a lot more games kind of adopting this as standard for themselves. What are you guys' reactions to this here at the top?
I'm actually surprised. I thought that it would take some big moment where Sony was really losing some business over this for them to make this decision. And I'm really curious about why now. Maybe the experiment with Fortnite showed them that they weren't going to lose sales, at least with it. I don't know. But I guess I'm just curious about where this decision came from.
I mean, it's about time, right? It's probably notable that it's occurring both for the beta for Modern Warfare and kind of like right before the release of that game, considering all the kind of the existing between Call of Duty and Sony, which I think you guys talked about last week, the exclusive stuff. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this is good news. I thought it'd take them a lot longer because it literally always takes Sony longer to do anything. And I figured this would just be something that they roll out next generation and have just kind of when they do the big blowout for whatever PS5 is, use it as a really great talking point. I'm confused about the way they chose to roll out this news, because this is the second time that they've released a pretty big news item in a really odd way. They
with Wired.
This week.
Oh,
they
yeah.
The departure of Sean Layden, I believe it was, just in a tweet, and they didn't clarify anything about they didn't release a statement. They just put it out in a tweet. And I'm not going to do the tinfoil hat to connect those two. I just think it's odd that they chose to release the news in this way.
Yeah. I think to Larry's point about like why now, and to your point, Cody, about why like this is my answer. I think why now is because Sony realizes this should have been done ages ago. Mm-hmm. And I think the functionality's been there, and it's pretty well documented that we've known that functionality has been there. I can't remember exactly what game it was, but I think it was Rocket League that accidentally turned it on.
Yeah.
And the developers were like, oh yeah, it really is just like a switch force to flip. But I think they dug their heels in so firmly prior to the Fortnite mess that you have to I think they just kind of needed it to be this slow burn out until the point where I think today, I mean, that's a pretty big list of games there. And represents a pretty big player base, especially when you start throwing Call of Duty Modern Warfare in there, to the point where crossplay is starting to feel standard. And so I think Sony is smart enough to recognize, like, hey, you can't make a big fan moment out of this. Release a video and a big announcement and get it circulating around everywhere, because we've been asking for this for ages, and we villainized Sony over the fact that they haven't included it. And so it's like the excitement that they would have tried to drone up in releasing this, it's like it was only created by your own stubbornness, and so I just don't think it would have played well. So I think this is,
everyone would have responded like Cody, the about time.
yeah. So I think that's why it was now and why it was like this, because there's just not a lot of room for fanfare there.
Yeah, it's just them trying to drum up hype for this is totally undeserved, because this is something that has been possible and should have been a thing a while ago. I'm excited for I guess it takes a little bit more work, but to bring this into kind of games that have been on the market for a while. So I know, are they doing this with Destiny? Have they talked about that?
The cross save is available in Destiny right now.
Is available with Destiny, but not crossplay.
Right. Yeah. No announcements on that front yet. But yeah, Destiny's a big one I think people are asking for. I'd love to see Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch, Siege,
Apex Legends.
I'd like to Apex Legends and Blackout, Call of Duty. Talking about the Call of Duty partnership, I think that'd be great too. Yeah, this is good for players. It's just taking this long.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into our actual topics. Just wanted to throw that one in here at the top. Our thoughts on crossplay have been pretty well documented on this podcast, so nothing really new there to hash out. Speaking